Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now, Shadowlands is right around the corner. It comes out in about a month now. So the big thing that has been emphasized over and over again by multiple streamers, content creators, YouTubers, beta testers, alpha testers, everybody, world first raiders, everybody is the Covenant abilities. The one that everyone gets, like the utility based one, and then the actual class ability one. So, and I think their main concern is the class ability one, um, because you can really only pick one and keep it forever. Now, there is a process to go and change it, but it seems kind of a convoluted process and intentionally hard on purpose. Um, and that's, that again is done on purpose for a reason. They want you to keep your covenant, Blizzard does, and they want you to stick with it. And they've said over years and years and years and years that they're gonna balance it, make it right, gonna balance it, make it right. But that's just not reality. That's not something they've ever really been able to do. I've been playing since Wrath of the Lich King. They've never been able to do it. Like, all you gotta do is really look at Warlocks. I mean, come on. They've always been the top for, was it 2020 now? What, I don't know, 12 years since the end of Wrath. So Blizzard's not really good at doing that. So we as testers and players and Warlords Raiders and PvPers have 15 years of data to support the contrary of what Blizzard says that they can do. Not saying they can't do it this time around. We could all be pleasantly surprised. But we have a whole lot of data contrary to that. So I think I found a solution to this problem. And the solution lies in these soul binds here. Now, on the screen in the middle, you just have a generic one, like on the Wowhead beta page. So anyway, it looks pretty much exactly like an artifact weapon, right? It might have little cool things, and I think you can only choose X amount, and then it requires renown to go into each row, and I think you can only choose one, which is kind of a lot more choice given and a lot more harder decisions to make, because I don't know how the resetting of these works. I haven't really looked into that part, but it seems pretty set in stone that way. But you can switch between your soul binds a whole lot easier than you can switch between your covenants. So I was thinking, why not? There's 4 covenants, right? Right now, anyway. There might be a 5th one later on down the road, which would really throw a wrench in all of this, but I digress. So there's 4 covenants, right? And this picture shows 3 soul binds. Maybe they could add a 4th and make each ability, like the condemn ability for warriors or whatever, available to each covenant under each soul bind. So each ability is bound to a soul bind instead of bound to a covenant. And then what you do at that point is make that ability themed to the covenant. So one of the Kyrian prop paladin abilities judges a whole bunch of people at once, or Avenger shields a whole lot of people at once. I forget which one it was, but make that do something different when you're in Revendreth, or like condemn or something. Make it, call it something different. Give it a nice little different color. Again, aesthetics here. People love aesthetics. Players love aesthetics, especially those like me who are more casual. We like things to look cool. Again, make condemn available to each covenant. Call it a different name, like Venthyr Condemn. The Night Fae. You could call it Deforest. I don't know. But do that. Give it a nice different color. give it a nice different animation, and bind it to the soulbind. And then in that soulbind is the way that you enhance it. And then you can just switch in and out and keep your same covenant. Make the covenant, instead of it being so, the decision being so hard in the way that you have to pick the right one in order to do the most damage, make it hard because you want to look the coolest or you want to do the coolest things. Now, each covenant has their own little weird side games and stuff. That one, Preach went over that in his video. Like, the Night Fae has their little farm, and the Venthyr has the party, and the Necrolord, you can build the Abomination. I don't know what the Carrion one is. Somebody commented that. I've forgotten what the Carrion one was. But make those the choices that a player wants to make. A player doesn't want to make the tough choice on which button they need to choose in order to do the most damage without it already being available to them. If that makes sense. Like, I shouldn't have to look at all these abilities, only get to choose one, and hope I pick the one that's going to give me the most damage. Now, it'd be different if they were all in your spellbook, and you just refuse to press the right one and you don't do enough damage. That's your fault. That's my fault. But me picking the wrong one and you giving me 4 million, oh, sorry, that's literally the worst one. Sorry, bro. Gotcha. You gotta do this long, convoluted quest in order to get it back or to change it to the one that you should have. Again, that's not my fault. That's, to me, poor design. And I don't think that is very conducive to new players. Like, they're not gonna know to go to, I don't know what the Blood Mallet will be next expansion, but probably Blood Mallet again, or Icy Veins, Wowhead, any of that. New players don't know how to do that. They just want to pick the one they like, and they shouldn't be penalized for picking the one they like. Like, I really like the Necrolord plate armor, but my Death Knight is not going to be the Necrolord plate armor, is not going to pick Necrolords and get to wear that plate armor if that Necrolord ability isn't the best one. Now, they said they'll be able to balance it. I really, really hope they do. But we've got data from years to the contrary. It just doesn't, they just haven't been able to do it in the past. Maybe something's changed, maybe something's different, but you never know. But I just don't think they are going to be able to pull that off, honestly. Again, I'm hopeful, but we've just got a lot of data that supports otherwise. In any other type of profession, you wouldn't be hoping for that. Just put it in the soulbinds. Make each ability, put it at the top here. Like, right here. Put it at the top. Make it the first row. Click it. Go to each soulbind. Pick which one you want. Be able to flop in between the soulbinds. Like, oh, man. This is actually Garbo this tier. Click. Oh, that's actually Garbo this tier. Click. You're done. You get to stay a Carrion because you like the Carrions. You get to stay a Venthyr because you like Venthyr. Now, like the tertiary kind of utility ones, I'm not as worried about as some other players. And the evidence that I use for that is the artifact weapons. The artifact weapons had a lot of different utility based on your class and even your spec to a certain point. And they ended up working with that just fine. Like the marksmanship hunter weapon increased your movement speed by like 20-25%, something like that. I mean, nobody was given an unfair advantage that way. Like the Necrolord meat shield and the teleport, these are a little bit more impactful than the artifact stuff, but I still think Blizzard's good at balancing utility better than they are balancing damage. Always have been, in my opinion. I'm sure there are people that disagree with me, but I honestly think that the actual, like, ability that everybody gets, like the meat shield, the teleport, the swole boy, and the night fae one where you turn into the fox. I think those are okay. I don't have any issues with those. I think they'll be able to balance those effectively as needed. But it's mainly the damage thing, and that's because that directly impacts how much damage you hit somebody for, or hit a boss for. And that is what everybody cares about. They care about how hard they can hit the boss. So I hope somebody watches this and goes, hey, Dirty Legs is kind of right here. Let's just make a green condemn, a blue condemn, a gold condemn, and the normal red condemn. Put it in the first row of one, and then enhance it. And you can even keep the same stuff. You just got to add one at the top. Like, you don't even actually have to change the soul binds other than adding one. Even if you have to add one. This is looks like a pretty early picture, so there even might be a fourth soul bind. So this is definitely something I think somebody should consider. Somebody higher up. I hope somebody does, because this decision here, the Covenant abilities, is the make or break for this expansion. I think the expansion as a whole will go down as a good one, but this will be its Achilles heel. Just like in Legion, how the legendary acquisition was. In BFA, just like how the Azra armor was. In WoD, I mean, everything in WoD was its Achilles heel. It was a walking Achilles heel for 4 years, or however long it was. 3.5. So, they really need to take the time this last month and think about, is this really the decision they want? Now, I know that Ian has said that, he has no problem just lifting all the restrictions, letting people change in and out as they want. That's not cool to me as a player. I don't want to have to be Necrolord one fight, Hearth out, go Kyrian this fight, Hearth out, go Night Fae this fight, Hearth out. Like, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is stay Venthyr and pick my soulbind as I want. That's what I want to do. I want to keep my armor, keep my mount, keep my prestige, keep my renown, keep my party in Venthyr, in Revendreth. I want that stuff. I want to keep that stuff. Just like the Aldor and the Scryers. I want to stay Aldor and Scryers. But whether or not you're Aldor or Scryer really didn't make you a world first raider or not. This will. So I hope somebody watches this. Hopefully somebody spreads this around. Hopefully they come up with something. They don't have to even pick this idea. They could do something else and completely overhaul the system this close, or this, close to launch. I don't think they will, but I really, really hope somebody sees this and goes, hey, this is a good point here, because I think that they are underestimating the importance that these abilities will have. So that's all I've got today. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter, @DirtyLegsGaming, and as always, stay dirty, guys.